How everybody doing? I say, how everybody doing? You mind I tell you how I'm doing? Last year, around this time, I was in Greenville Correctional Facility with a life plus 26-year sentence. Did I believe I was going to be here this year? Did I believe I was going to be here this year? Did I believe I was going to be here this year?
You know Jesus, baby. You going to be here. Your hope is in Jesus.
Listen, love. Okay, so I believed that I was going to be here. I believe I was going to be here because while I was on the inside, I started to figure, okay, how am I going to get myself out of this particular circumference, back to the society, back to the people that love me, back to my mama, back to my children, back to my family, back to you guys, back to helping my area, all in that order. So, the question is that everybody wants to know, how did you do it? Well, first of all, I told God, I said, look, I'm going to go ahead and try it your way. First thing I said, God, I said, look at here. I done tried everything else. Man told me go get a $10,000 lawyer. I said, all right, let me go see about it. But I slowed up. $10,000, hold up. God, I want to try it your way. People tell me this way, that way, this way, but I said, I'm going to give God a shot. So when I started doing the things I was supposed to do, started becoming more aware of my surroundings, changed my whole circle of influence. Where I'm at today. So, there is no magic wand of how I made parole. Because when I was on the inside, I wanted to be a citizen. So I was on the inside, I started acting like a citizen. I start changing how they see me. So I said, okay, wait a minute, this is a thinking game, huh? So when I first come to prison, everything was physical, everything. But today, it's predicated upon the thinking, man. So Mr. Taylor had to think his way out of prison. So I started putting myself in good situations. I was down Nottaway in a single cell. If you've been locked up, all my guys is in here. Know about them single cells. You put your feet up, you ain't got to worry about no cellmate. You chilling. But it was a level 4. So I said, I got to get to a level 3. So I said, I'm going to leave this year. I'm going to Greenville. They said, man, you crazy? You going to leave a single cell? No, you can have a cell. I'm trying to get home. So what I did, got to Greenville, and they were starting a re-entry program. I said they were starting a re-entry program. I said, re-entry to what? They said, back to society. I said, I got to get over there. So I applied some things, and a lady by the name of Miss Jessica Lee gave me an opportunity. She gave me an opportunity to be what's known as an elder, a mentor in the cognitive community of re-entry. Bear in mind, I'm still trying to think my way out of prison, thank God. I'm trying to think my way out of prison, so the light going in my head, well, hey, well, if I'm in a cognitive community and I'm helping dudes with their transition back home, somebody gonna one day say, well, if he's helping people go home, then he has to be ready himself. So here comes a lady out of the blue because, bear in mind, I've been turned down for parole 10 straight times. 4 by Fahey, 4 by Muse, 4 by my own homegirl, Miss Karen Brown, Lord have mercy. 2 times by her. So I started saying, now, each time I was turned down, I would write a letter to the board. Thank you so much for the opportunity being even considered. I know it's an honor, I know it's a privilege to even be thought of or being selected to perhaps make parole. Thank you. The 10th letter, okay, thank you so much for, having the opportunity to be eligible for parole. I know the time and consideration that it takes, but I promise you, next year I'm going to make it even more difficult for you to tell me no. the 11th time, the governor said, you know, we're going to change a few things up. I'm going to hire somebody else to be the parole board chairman. Now, this lady has picked up a name inside of prison. A lot of the men call her the Lady Moses, because she kind of understands when a man is truly rehabilitated, has an understanding of what it is that he's supposed to be doing, and he's ready to be perhaps her neighbor. I get my paper and it says, Paul Taylor, release. Now, the first thing that I do is making sure that this paper is real. So I pull it to me a little bit and I'm really making sure this is for me. And they usually send it to you by your counselor, but mine was brought to me by a program manager, Miss Jessica Lee. And when I seen it and we looked at each other, now it's no fraternizing, but I grabbed that woman and I cried. And I all thought about my mama, whom everybody that knows my mother, when they go to the house and she say, go to my pantry, baby, and get something out of there. When they go in there, they pull the string. But the light never comes on. So they'll come back out and say, Mom, you know there's a light bulb, you want me to check? No, my baby gonna change that one day. Guess what her baby did when he came home? Change the bulb. Now, it's something I want to say before I go a little bit further, because I know we're pressed for time, and I do not like to talk too long because people only remember the beginning and the end if you talk too long. But it's something that I want to make clear. Today, everybody here knows my name. But I want you to know the name of Julius Jeggedy. Let me hear you say that. One more time. Please, a little louder. I want you to remember that name more than you remember mine. Because Julius Jeggedy was the victim of my crime. So please, never ever forget that. If you don't remember anything I said today, remember that. Because right now, I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to eradicate some of the social ills that I helped create. Some of the social ills that Chief Durham is fighting against, we helped create. And there's a lot of men here today from Clean Dreams, Calvin the Steward, Talib, Jawad Abdul. There's so many of us that's here now that made parole, that came from prison, that's on the front lines of this journey. And when you have a chief, the first time I ever seen him was on television when I was still on the inside, and he said, and I heard him say, he's not trying to lock everybody up. He's trying to find solutions. I'm on the inside with the guys, and we looking around like, man, what did he say? We got to catch the news, and we got to catch that 6 o'clock news. We got to make sure we heard what we heard. But that's what he said. He's not trying to just lock people up. Now, some of us deserve a little walk to the county. We do. We deserve a little walk to the county. But he said he wasn't just trying to lock people up. He's looking for solutions. So me and Jawad on the inside, I said, Jawad, what we gonna do? He said, man, you already know. All I say is, you already know. But Jawad left before I did and went and knocked on the chief's door, as you heard him lead too. And he said, what can we do to help? Now, 2 things I want to address before I go. There's a lot of families here today that want to talk to Miss Bennett. Miss Bennett is a welcoming lady. But I want you to bear in mind something. Remember what I said I had to do. looking for the magic key. Everybody's looking for it. They didn't understand that the magic key was me. So I had to change how I was perceived. And it starts while your loved one is in prison right now. He has to walk the same walk that he talked. Not sometimes, all the time. All the time. Because the first thing they're going to check is institutional infractions. Have you been wilding out? You've been catching dirty yawns? You've been doing this, you've been doing that? And then you want somebody to stamp the paper? Now, if you've been down over, you had to been down over 20-something years to even be eligible for parole. And if you're still doing the same thing you was doing in the beginning, then you're making your fight hard. And you wonder why parole is hitting you. Who made it there? Hey, he made it? Who else made it? And it ain't hit you yet. Then maybe it's time to start being more cognitive aware. And it's funny because in re-entry, they put you in a cognitive community and give you classes like thinking for a change. Literally. Let's think for a change here. Pro-social attitudes and beliefs. Relinquishing your antisocial behaviorisms. So when you go back and that call comes today, and it says, you have a collect call from, then you tell him what you heard here today. Because the magic key is them. Never in the history of Virginia Parole Board has so many people been granted parole. Can we give Ms. Bennett a hand? Now, the other two things that I want to address real briefly is this. The first one is this cradle to prison pipeline. I just left prison where there's men that's 18, you might have heard this before, 19, 20 years old, and who's going to be in prison longer than the 18, 19, 20 years that they was in society. And I want you to think about that for a minute. Youngsters in here today, think about that, because a lot of y'all know some of these kids that's going to be in prison longer than the time that they was out here. And they don't even know what that is going on. So they're fighting for their life. They're fighting for their life because somebody failed them. Because somebody failed them. And I just left the place where all the people that failed them and their fathers. And you're talking to a man right now that has 3 sons incarcerated. And I'm a victim of what I've coined the term of transferable character. And what that means is that my dad's dad, he went to jail. My dad been to prison. His brother's been to prison. I've been to prison. And now my son's in the prison. I got 2 grandsons. They're not going to prison. They're not going to prison, man. So what I'm saying to you with your own families, the men of these families, somebody has to cut the root. Somebody has to get some Roundup and spray on this virus. Because it's infecting our communities, it's infecting our leaders, it's infecting our future. The second thing, I've come across a term that was called gender responsiveness. And they said, what is gender responsiveness? Gender responsiveness is something that has to do with our women that are going to prison at an alarming rate. And they said, some of the reasons are drugs, number 1, gangs, but the one that caught me, they said, a dependent. A dependent. So, my mama said my ears are like question marks to ask a question if you hear something you don't understand. So I said, what is meant by a dependent? They said, well, Paul, a lot of these women were dependent on men. So everything just hits me all of a sudden, and I say, what? John G., Mo, Clean Dreams can testify to this. A lot of the women are on drugs, and what they meant by dependent was because they got with guys like us, hustlers, movers, and shakers, getting that money, that they put their own aspirations and dreams to the side. They was going to school at first, they was going to college, they was getting this, they was going to be that, they was going to be this, but they put them to the side, messing with dudes like us who getting that money, driving this, we put them in cars, we float, we lace them up, they got the nice pad, they looking good, and they put together their own aspirations to the side. But then the door kicked open, boom. The people come snatch us up, we got 10, 15 years, and then they like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And then we leave them with habits, because they won't snort no cocaine. They won't snort no heroin before they met you. But now they're left with a habit. So now they're trying to catch on to the next dope boy, or the next dope boy, because all their aspirations has been foiled because of men like. Our women are going to prison at a rapid rate. The mother of our children are going to prison at a rapid rate. Our mothers are going to prison at a rapid rate. Our daughters are going to prison at a rapid rate. So I say to the men here today, what are we going to do about it? Well, I'm going to tell you. There are men that are on their way back from prison, thanks to Miss Bennett, that understand that thinking controls behavior. And we're on our way back on a mission to, again, eradicate some of the social ills that we help create. You see, them youngsters don't listen to nobody come through there in their suit all the time. You know, that's gonna talk that talk, but when the cameras go off, they hightail you back to suburban America. No. They listen to the men that seen what they seen, been what they've been, and can speak the language of the people. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I say this. Mr. King, a lot of things that he fought for are still going on today. A lot of us men that are returning 20-some years ago, we apologize for dropping the baton handed down to us by our predecessors by choosing another way. Instead of taking our rightful place as leaders in this community, leaders in our household, leaders to our women, our sons, and our daughters. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a new time. It's the time of return to citizens.
Come on, y'all can do better than that.